Hey guys, this is Sunsfan with an introduction to Ancient Apparition. Ancient Apparition, otherwise known as AA, is a very flexible intelligence hero that can thrive in both a solo mid/ganking role as well as a hard support. Cold Feet is a unique single target skill that when applied to an enemy target will place a negative buff upon them for 4 seconds. If the target moves at least 740 units away, then absolutely nothing happens. But if they do not move that many units away, once that 4-second period ends, they will be stunned for 3.5 seconds while taking 75 magic damage over time. Ice Vortex is a skill that will allow AA to slow enemies in a 275 AoE. At level 4, enemies will have their move speed reduced by 30% as well as have their spell resistance lowered by 25%. As you can imagine, both aspects of this skill synergize directly with Cold Feet. Keep in mind that these Ice Vortexes last for 12 seconds while only having a cooldown of 6. Chilling Touch is essentially a buff that can be placed on any allies, including yourself. When this buff is applied at level 4, the next 5 attacks will deal plus 70 bonus magic damage. Keep in mind that this buff has a slight negative factor to it in the fact that your attack speed will be reduced by 15%. Also, this buff will wear off after 40 seconds if the 5 attack quota is not met. Ice Blast is a very strong ultimate. It's a double activatable ability with global range, and I'll do my best to explain it correctly. As AA, you point and click your ultimate in a certain direction. Once you do this, a projectile will be flown in that direction at a speed of 1500. Now before we continue with the specifics of this spell, just keep in mind that the farther your ultimate goes, the bigger the AoE will get. Now once the projectile gets to an area in which you feel the most damage can be done, you activate your ultimate again. Once you do this, another projectile will fly out to that point of impact. Once it gets there, it will deal 450 instant damage to all targets within the AoE and also place a negative buff upon them for 10 seconds. This negative buff has 3 parts to it. Part number 1, units will take 32 dot damage. So, meh. Part 2, units will have HP freeze placed onto them, which means they will not be able to regenerate health. So, okay, pretty freaking good. And lastly, during this 10-second period, if the unit gets lower than 12% health, they will instantly die. So in other words, this ultimate is redonkulous.